Hello, and welcome to a new episode of the Ink Panels Graphic Novel Club. I'm Dan, and Gambit is running a little bit late. He had a client that was going a little long, and Tessa will be popping in at some point. This happened kind of by accident, that we did not realize that this was the 3-year anniversary of George Perez passing. Gambit just wanted to do a Perez book. And what better than to pick a character that I'd say at that point in time was a secondary character. She wasn't a major player. And after Crisis, they devolved Wonder Woman basically back into clay. And George Perez kind of had an idea for it. He came in, they at one point had a team they were bringing in with what he called a problematic artist. George was a professional, was never going to name names. So it always made me kind of research and trying to find out who this problematic artist was. So they say that you should never meet your heroes. And George Perez was one of the people I would meet at shows and was one of the best people you could ever talk to. His enthusiasm for the genre, his just sweetness to his fans. Like, he would sit there and sketch for hours and hours and would not leave till his line was over. Just truly one of the greats. I see one of our guest panelists has shown up in there, and I'm waiting for her to look somewhat comfy before I bring her in. She gave me the peace sign, so it looks like we're good. And here is Tessa joining us.
You were talking about meeting your heroes, so I decided to come join. You're welcome.
So you are, I'd say, a younger fan compared to Gambit and I. When did you first find the joy of George Perez's art?
New Teen Titans. So back in probably 2004 or so for me. It was my entryway. It was my drug. And then I started following Wolfman and Perez into stuff, and they were what got me into comics.
I feel that Titans was also my entry because I really wasn't a DC guy except for Batman, and then there was the crossover Lonely Place of Dying where they started introducing Tim Drake in, and you had to buy Titans to get the whole story. And I was like, wow, who is this artist? Because this was like 9-year-old me, like picking it up off the 7-Eleven spinner rack. Goes back that far. And I was just like, oh my God, this guy's art. And then like I found Crisis on Infinite Earths, and I was like, oh my God, this is everybody. There's characters I have no idea who they are. Being a young reader, I was like, who are these people?
His ability to sculpt this, like the plethora, the cast of characters, but making all of them look like actual individual characters is beyond, I would say, even most artists today. Of just like, if you're looking at those Crisis covers, you can make out who each one of those characters are. Like, he just whips them out like crazy.
And I will give credit because I think it was the New 52 Justice League that Phil Jimenez did one of the covers for, and he tried
one
to
of them
do
after Perez, the beautiful Wonder Woman one.
Yes,
yes. Incredible response.
Phil Jimenez is like one of the great artists who like unapologetically is like, oh, like I'm chasing George Perez, like he is my hero.
Oh yeah, it's with love. It's not copying. It's an honor.
No,
like it's gorgeous, and he has his own style too. Like you can tell it's a Jimenez piece. Like I love his work.
Oh, 100%. And then he changed his art a little bit because when he got to his story, I was like, wow, this is
I guess why this took you years.
Yes, well, that too.
Oh, I'm on my phone. I can't read what people say. Oh my goodness.
Perez panels never look overstuffed or overpopular. Somehow the Perez Wonder Woman run can put so much in one page.
Right? Gosh.
It's he also brought us
in like silver and bronze stuff. It's so common, especially with women characters, to just make them look like the same base, basically. And just this one has short blonde hair, this one has long red hair, and like that's the only difference. And I think it's Romita first, but then Perez is just, wow, these are actually different characters. Like, you are giving each person their own humanity, these little images on a page.
Also, I love that he did something that annoyed John Byrne so much that John Byrne immediately, when he took over Avengers, got rid of Christmas Tree Wonder Man.
John Byrne is a fantastic creator, but a shitty human being. So
Yes,
yeah.
very much so. But I just love that he did something so much that annoyed him that he's like, I have to change this immediately.
I just got a message from someone seeing the Final Destination movie. This is not a spoiler, but I just saw. I can't wait to see how the shithead kid dies. I can say that it is a shithead kid. Yep.
Every Final Destination movie has that one shithead kid.
Well, this one, yeah, this is like a kid, not like a yeah.
It's a real kid.
Yeah, it's like this is a child.
Oh,
but he's shitty enough. It's fine. I promise.
Very much. He brought her back from being a secondary character who was borderline irrelevant and brought new life into her, and bringing in the gods and like how important they were to her. And I'd say this is a more important reinvigoration probably than what Miller did with Batman.
I would agree for sure.
Batman wasn't a secondary character.
I've never read the entirety of this run till like issue 200, whatever it is or whatever. But this has kind of gotten me like, maybe I should just go. Maybe I should just go for the whole thing. Obviously, I know George didn't do all of it or whatever, but there are some great creators that are on it. I feel like I should go for it. I've never read a huge Wonder Woman run.
So I bounced around, like I'll like read for a bit and then jump around. Like Greg Rucka's run right before the end for New 52 rebooted everything was really good.
What I've read I really enjoyed, which no surprise, it's Greg Rucka. But yeah, I always have this urge to just like read everything from the beginning because I'm just a completionist at heart in every form of the word. I want to consume everything. And so I haven't given Wonder Woman enough love. I've read everything since the beginning of Rebirth, and then I've read a lot of important stories. Like I've read the Brian K. Vaughan stuff. I've read Hikatia. But like I didn't fall in love with her until the Cloonan Conrad run Afterworlds.
I didn't love that run, which is weird. I did not love that. And I love those two creators, but for some reason it did not resonate with me.
Oh man. That's my favorite Wonder Woman story.
I actually think like the Rucka run was one of my favorites for writer wise. I did really like Gail Simone's run. Made herself important.
Yes. Yeah, especially after who was it that made her just normal in the Silver Age? That wasn't Steranko, was it?
It was Denny O'Neil.
There we go, yeah.
And he regretted it, and every time there was an interview with him, he's like, I'm the one who ruined Wonder Woman.
That kind of did, like, that damage stuck with her for decades, I felt like. I don't know. And so I feel like this is the run that started revitalizing it and being like, no, she's important and she is badass, and she is not only that because she is Wonder Woman.
Very much so. And then there's, like, these spin-off stories that, like, Wonder Woman Dead Earth by Daniel Warren Johnson, that was just fucking fantastic.
I literally said to someone before the show, I was like, I wonder how long it's going to take for Dead Earth to be mentioned. I specifically didn't say it because I was curious.
So that and Historia are like the two best ones that I've read in the last like couple of years.
Are you liking the current run?
I'm not a huge Tom King fan.
That's why I asked.
But he's doing a very good job because I feel like Diana is a character that you can deconstruct a little bit, but he's not really deconstructing her, but he's telling a story where, you know how a lot of Tom King books, they're kind of disjointed, but if you read them in like a trade, they read really well. This one actually reads well issue to issue.
It's almost hard to binge it just because in true King fashion, it's very wordy.
Yes.
Like this is going to take me a while.
I love Sam Pierre's art.
Yeah.
He is fantastic.
I love this run. I think it's gorgeous and amazing.
Weirdly, I'm going to disagree with this. I actually really like it.
Yeah, I think this is like cementing itself as like not only a good Wonder Woman run, but an important run.
I don't love the daughter.
Do you like the backups though? That aren't around anymore.
They're kind of cute, but I don't love the character that much. Maybe once she gets her own.
Yeah, I'm reserving judgment almost for a while for her. Sorry, I kicked my tripod. I do love Yara Flora, so I love that she's like getting to be in this book a bit.
So and I'm Donna Troy stan, so like she pops up.
I love all of them. I've loved all three of them, and I love that they're not doing that thing where they just like kind of replace each other and the other one is lost in the wind. How it's actually like I like them being so prevalent in this. And I actually love all the backups, and like Elysium really got me. The one spoilers, I guess, if you're still reading the Wonder Woman run and you're not caught up. After Steve Trevor dies, there's a little backup. That was gorgeous. One of my like favorite backups of anything I've ever read.
So that post Steve Trevor issue with Diana, like kind of dealing with it, and you know she makes her deal. I mean, spoilers. We all know how she has a child, but like it wasn't wordy, but Sam Pierre's art told such a great story. And I love that when you can tell a story with very little talking. Like, it's not talky, but the art just carries it, and you can understand everything going on.
I feel like Tom King's greatest strength is knowing how to work with artists and picking specific artists for specific stories. I feel like he is very good at specifically telling comic stories. Like, it's not just, here's words, and then someone else will throw in some art. Like, I feel like he's very good at actually doing a collaborative medium. And I think it kind of shows in all of his books that, like, even if you're not a King person, it's like, you like how different artists deconstruct different things, and I like how they work together. And
well,
I don't know.
I feel like you and I fell in love with Sam Pierre from Philip K. Johnson's run on Superman. Like, it's back there, but but this was the last piece of art I got from George Perez at MegaCon. He did a Donna Troy for me, and I will forever treasure this.
That is my only I was gonna say my only comic regret, but I think it's my only regret in life in general, just never meeting him. I was actively making an effort right before the announcement happened. And so he was going to less shows, and I was like, that's okay. I should still be able to catch him at like his last one, and then obviously it didn't happen.
He was the governor of MegaCon, basically. He was like the king of that convention. He would be there, and he constantly had a line, and he would not leave till he signed every last. And he did sketches all day just for Hero Initiative donations. It was great. He was just such a great person. Like, I've met some really shitty creators, but like he's like the great hope of like, I wish everybody was like him.
I have a lot of friends of him, and it's just they can't talk about him without getting choked up. Like, everything they have to say is just beautiful. I feel like that's very telling.
And Phil Jimenez was also like one of the most amazing creators to meet, because he completely ruined a con for me.
I love the story.
So we were eating lunch. He stopped over. My friend tried to set me up. We were set up. He goes, "Hey, what do you think of Phil Jimenez's art on Wonder Woman?" Not realizing he was sitting at the table. I was like, "Best since George Perez." And he's like, "Damn it, I was hoping you were going to say something horrible." That's Phil right there. I was like, "Hi." And he was talking about Superman. He goes, "Well, what if Superman didn't like the way the heroes were acting and kind of strayed away?" And he was kind of laying out what Infinite Crisis was going to be without telling me. And he's like, "I'm drawing this book. I can't really talk much about it, but it's Blue Beetle in like a James Bond thing." I was like, "Tell me more." And he goes, "Are you a fan?" I was like, "Yeah." He goes, "You're not going to like me after it." And like got up, and I was like, "What?" And then it came out, and I was like, "What the fuck just happened?" And I saw him at a con later. I was like, "I'm mad at you still. I'm just letting you know."
Man.
But he was just fantastic too. But I love those little contours where they will tell you something and be like, so this is kind of what I got going on, but I'm not gonna tell you more.
Oh yeah. I was chatting with Zach Kaplan, and he was like, oh, like let's do like a little video thing, so we'll talk about my new trade coming out. And so I segued it in the video where I was like, oh yeah, you have something new to tell us about. And he was like, Tessa, I can't talk about that on camera. I was like, no, the thing we're like here for, the thing we're like, the reason you called me to your table. Not your new book, your trade. That's it. I love him. He's one of my favorite writers too.
Yeah, like Perez, even his Marvel work is pretty overly loved, like Hulk, Future Imperfect, which was like, oh, this is the maestro. It's him with Peter David, and then of course, like, it's hard to not talk about that, Infinity,
that thing, whatever it is, Joe.
Yeah, that Infinity thing, gems.
Most people don't know about it.
Yeah. Some weird Marvel event that happened that crossed over into every freaking book, even some of them that had no sense for them to be involved in it.
Okay, well, that happens on both sides for a lot of events.
Oh, 100%. Also, like, I got very lucky at my store that screws me over constantly. Found that on the shelf.
Oh, I have a ton of them on the shelf, so I'm just leaving them there hoping that people want them, but I have like 20 copies left.
I figured once it got up to like $18, people were going to start just like going through them, but that style's not for everybody, but I saw it, I was like, oh, that's really nice.
I love Lozano. I love Lozano to the point that, like, even when I don't like their work, I like that it's interesting. It's the same thing with, like, Mike Del Mundo. Like, I feel, like, that one's just, like, a pretty lady, but I feel like they both do, like, a lot of, like, interesting things where, like, even if they don't like it, I like that it doesn't feel, like, boring and static.
Gotcha. Gambit's still trying to connect. He's having tech problems. Imagine.
It's okay. I'm making a huge mess in the meantime. I have a white, fluffy little rug below me, and it is full of rice from my burrito, so it's great.
There's nothing like a messy burrito. Sounded wrong saying it.
I was just like, you brought attention to it.
I was like, that sounds. Ooh. I did not love that Charles Soule New 52.
I did like a lot of the art that I did originally see from that. I was always interested in it. I never read it. I think I read like one issue, but I would like to read that.
The New 52 was a weird place for me because it was so disjointed. And then that Brian Azzarello Wonder Woman was like such a weird book.
But I do like some Cliff Chiang art.
Oh yeah, Cliff Chiang I do really enjoy. I just wish Brian Azzarello wasn't such an asshat.
I really wish he wouldn't write women the way he does.
Yeah.
That's rough.
Yeah, I
like, that's literally the only creator I feel that way for. I'm not usually the type of person that says that kind of stuff, but just reading Brian Azzarello, I feel like I'm just like, oh, so much of it.
So there are writers I don't think should write certain characters. We're just gonna say,
come on here and tell it to our faces, punk.
So I think Scott Snyder should never write Superman because I don't think he has the voice. Like, it's the same way I feel that like Philip Kennedy Johnson has like 100% the Superman voice. He gets it. He understands the whole character inside outside. Greg Rucka understands Batwoman, knows how to write actually female characters in general, like especially LGBTQ. Like he must know people that he can go to because he writes from like a place of like very intimate knowledge. The New 52 didn't have time to plan. Like when they changed creative teams after like 4 issues, that was where I knew they were kind of in a little bit of trouble.
Look, I get that not every New 52 book is great, but I have some New 52 books that I adore, and like I will die on the hill of the New 52 is not all bad.
No, it's not all bad, but like
And it's not
there was
just
some like
Scott Snyder's Batman, which I do think that is good. It is also overrated. I can think something is very good and overrated at the same time. I hear all the time that that's like the #1 Batman book you should read. I don't believe that. I think it's good. I think it's great.
I thought the first couple issues with the Court of Owls were really good.
Yeah.
And then meh.
It goes up and down for me. It's overhyped, so it's really hard to read it because everyone says it's the best book of all time. If you went in with more medium expectations, you'd be like, oh yeah, that's okay. This is good. But I love Perez. I love Swamp Thing. I like Animal Man.
Perez was good. Swamp Thing and Animal Man were very good.
Yeah.
What was I liked not Resurrection Man. I Vampire I really liked.
I was literally trying to think of it. I was like seeing the Jenny Frison covers in my head and I was like, come on.
New 52 got a lot of people back in the comics.
Got a lot of people in comics.
That too, but it was just like Perez getting kicked off the Superman book, that weird Grant Morrison book for Superman, like they kind of dropped the ball on those. The Hawk and Dove book, all the Rob Liefeld, like I saved these books from oblivion. I was the greatest.
Rob Liefeld did a stint on Deathstroke, didn't he?
Yep.
Because I had a lot of customers that actually enjoyed that.
I think it's in his wheelhouse of like you can do numbskull action on it, and
yeah, like for me to pick a DC character for him to write and like try to make it good, I think that is probably like at least one of my #1 picks.
Hawkman was meh.
Perez is one of my favorite books, and Swamp Thing made me cry. Oh,
Flash was solid.
Art. Swoon, yeah.
Yes, Flash was solid, and then like Josh Williamson took over, and he has probably one of the top 3 runs on that book.
And everyone likes Jeff Johns' Aquaman as well.
Yes, especially that it was like very meta with him like making jokes about Aquaman being a joke to the public. And then
I actually think that the Justice League run was fun. When I read it, I never finished it, but I'm not gonna say it's like the best book of all time, but I was entertained. Like I was having a fun time with it, especially as like an earlier reader.
Yeah, when Jason Fabok jumped on like near the end when they did like the Dark Side.
I've never read that, and I know I need to.
It was solid, but Fabok's art, I was like, oh man, it's like if Mark Silvestri and Tony Daniel had a sick love child.
Yeah, I'm not into a lot of that era of DC's art in general. I don't think it's bad. It's just not for me. Like, I mean, again, to go to Perez, I like the Caldwell art and like that kind of stuff, but I'm less into like the Fabok, the Ivan Rice, like that kind of stuff is like less for me.
So like the artist like I found like mostly during COVID was Trad Moore. Like Silver Surfer, I like fell in love with.
I love different. As far as like stereotypical comic style art, I really love like Lee Weeks. It's a little sketchier, I guess. He's one of my favorite artists, but like in general, it's just I guess not what I'm drawn to for some reason. Or like Dan Mora to go the opposite end and do really clean.
So when I had Steve Orlando on, he said his favorite artist to work with was Riley Rossmo, and that he was like super underrated.
Oh yeah, definitely. They're really fun. They know how to like actually play in the medium and do interesting, weird stuff.
Oh, 100%.
Yeah.
Although like Javier Rodriguez, I'm noticing like more and more is kind of like that. Where's Javier?
I'm only thinking Javier Fernandez right now. Which one's Javier?
Or maybe I'm confusing the last name. It's the guy who's doing the Absolute Martian Manhunter.
Oh, that is Javier Rodriguez, right? Yeah.
I believe so.
Yeah, so thank you. You got me there. Yeah, his color work is so cool right now. Also, speaking of color work, Michael Janin. He did like the Tom King Batman art, and I wasn't as into it then. Like I thought it was good. I think he's come so far now, and his colors are gorgeous.
I liked him on Nightwing when he was doing the art on Nightwing for a while.
Who was it doing the Nightwing art?
He was doing it on.
Was that Tim Seeley?
I thought he was doing it when Tom King took over the book on
Like
Nightwing.
the Monster Men stuff?
I'm trying to think what Nightwing. It might have been when he was at that. It might have been the Seeley one then. It was when they had that school when he was at the assassin school as a teacher.
That would be the Seeley stuff. I didn't read that stuff, so I didn't.
Okay.
I read a little bit of it. No, I read the new 52 stuff. That was Seeley, right? No, Seeley did Rebirth too. Yeah, so I didn't read the Rebirth stuff, but I read the new 52 stuff. I read before he got shot.
Yes, which is, I believe, when Seeley left the book because he was like, I can't do this anymore. When he became Rick
Grayson.
Yes.
He's Rick. Ugh.
It was bad.
I mean, while I didn't like that, I do appreciate that they like closed that circle very well at some point in the Tom Taylor run. I like how loud your keyboard typing is.
Sorry, it's right by the mic.
Just da 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 da.
Gambit's still having trouble getting in.
He's just scared of me. I get it. I'm intimidating.
Oh, so much.
Mm-hmm.
So
maybe he just actually doesn't like George Perez. Maybe that's the problem.
Yeah, he's still mad at him for his wedding.
Yeah, that's it.
He's probably like furiously typing. So
you actually like him, just come on here and say it. That's all I'm saying.
So one of the things we talked about was like the covers and how many characters. It's a not gatefold cover, wraparound cover, but like it's just gorgeous. And it was weird. I didn't see a colorist listed.
The like first 2 pages or so. That's also George Perez, right?
Yes.
Yeah, that gives me such like
Kelly Jones.
Yeah, like some kind of like Vertigo-y stuff. Like that could be pages from Sandman. Like,
you know what? That's a good call. And I think that was Sam Keith, the first issue. So of Sandman, or
was it Dave McKean?
Or was it? Oh no, Dave McKean, and then Sam Keith took over. Yeah. I think a couple in.
So I love George Perez. I was never like specifically into Wonder Woman. I liked the Linda Carter stuff on TV and stuff, but I was never like a huge Wonder Woman fan. Interested.
You mean the goddess Linda Carter?
Yes, all hail. So to tell you a horrible truth about me, when I first read this run, I did not like it. To be fair, it was after I had a not great interaction with a man, and so the beginning of it kind of goes into the rape and pillaging of Amazons and everything. And so I was not personally in a headspace to read this stuff. So I definitely kind of like rage quit at some point where I was like, I can't do this right now. But the first time I read this, I was like, ooh, I'm finally gonna read like a good Wonder Woman book. And I was like, I can't do this. Oh no, I cannot do this. I had like the omnibus, and I was like, I'm just gonna get rid of this. And then I read it later, and I was like, oh yeah, this is great and gorgeous. I just was not in a good mind to actually consume it.
I mean, you kind of need this first page, unfortunately, to explain the Well of Souls, which I think was a hugely cool thing to do. Of like, all of the Greek gods have been saving all of the souls of all these women who've had violence committed against them, and like, literally, the first page, the caveman is mad because he lost his hand, and his wife's trying to, cheer him up, and he turns around with the angriest look and then beats her over the head with a bat, and then her soul shoots out, and oh, by the way, she's pregnant. And then later on in the book, I was like, oh, that's Hippolyta and Diana. It's 2 souls. And they made her the queen.
Yeah, no, it is beautiful and amazing. It was definitely a me thing, but it was just the first time I read it, I was like, I can't do this. Maybe I just don't like it. And then later on I was like, no, I do like it.
Yeah, and then how they do Olympus. And at times, like, Olympus looks like an MC Escher painting where people are, like, walking on walls one way and then underneath. And the great interaction with the gods, with...
Oh, yeah. Sassy bitches.
Oh, the gods are so involved in this, and I kind of love it, but they also talk about how they need man to be able... That's what keeps them alive. If man stops believing in them, or man doesn't exist anymore, which is kind of a spoiler for the end, the gods can't exist. They wither and die.
Wow, if only we could have some kind of third perspective on this show.
Huh?
If only we could have some kind of third perspective on this show.
It's weird. I feel so bad for you holding your water against your head.
I'm trying to cool the forehead. I was like, oh, I'll at least stay on until Gambit gets here.
The colorist was Tatiana Wood, which I kind of love. It's Wally Wood's wife.
Oh, I didn't know that.
She also did the Swamp Thing, the Alan Moore. She was the penciler on that. Not the penciler, the colorist.
Which I haven't read yet, so I don't know that yet.
And we have our third guest. Gambit. Hello.
Hey.
How was
Sorry.
Tattooing a plethora of people?
No, it was just one client. I just take a client today.
You just lie to me. Just tell me you had like 70 people to tattoo today. What are you doing?
There's no one can tattoo 70 people in one day. I wish.
Jack Kirby could have.
Just one dot on each person.
We probably could have, yeah.
Man did 8 pages a day.
The best I can do is 4 pages a day. That's my record.
What was your record?
4 pages a day.
That's still bonkers.
But I won't do that ever again. It's not worth it.
Yo, do you have green in your hair right now?
No, it's not green. It's well, it looks green right now, but it's yellow.
Ooh.
Just that it's not.
Oh yeah, that's sick.
Yeah, it goes from that yellow green to red at the to orange to red at the tip, so it looks like like a flame.
Oh, that's gorgeous. Okay.
He's just got the spectrum, just going down 2 strips. So we were talking about our first George books that kind of got us into
we're
him.
Talking about this this creator named Geoge Perez. I'm not sure if you've ever heard of him. Pretty
I've heard
pretty
his
big
name.
creator. Yeah, you heard him around. Yeah.
Yeah. So what are we talking about? So first of all, I'm sorry I'm late. I'm really sorry I'm late. I wasn't expecting my client today to take longer than 3 hours, and it took 6. That's why I'm here. I'm here late. I haven't had food or anything, so I was seeing you eating. I was like, anyway, I'm here. My bad. Where were we? We're talking about Geoge Perez. Your first book, your first Geoge Perez book.
Yeah, we had talked about when we first started, like what made you fall in love, and what was the book that first you found him on?
I think it was a Who's Who, because
that's sick.
My first DC books were Who's Who books. Before that, the only comics that I had were some Spider-Man stuff. So I think it was a Who's Who that I got. I was in middle school. There was a teacher selling some comic books, and there was a bunch of West Coast Avengers and a bunch of Who's Who and
West Coast Avengers.
Yeah. So I bought a bunch of them.
You some kind of like classroom dealer, some like teacher pulling out a trench coat and being like, "Hey kids, let me show you something." It's just comics.
It wasn't even my teacher. It was a teacher from for another.
That's weirder.
For another class, it was a teacher for another class, and somebody said, "Hey, you like comic books? This teacher has some comic books that he's selling," and we went there immediately because there was we didn't have a comic book store or anything close that we could go visit. So that's what we could. We like what somebody else have comic books. We can get comic books. So I think that's the first book that I saw his work on. I am not really sure which issue it was or what drawing it was, honestly. But I think that he drew most of it, so I'm not. I really don't remember. But um, I think the first book that I read entirely. So that school I think doesn't exist anymore. It was a school in Puerto Rico. It's a middle school in Puerto Rico. It was in seventh grade, I think I was at the time. And that's not that the school sell teachers sell comic books. It was just that one time in 12 years that I was in school down there. Well, it was more than 12 years, but it was that one time. One time a teacher did that, so it's not that special. It was just a one-off moment. So where was I? Oh, so the book that I saw that was able to actually appreciate his work in a storytelling fashion, sequential instead of just a pin-up of a superhero standing up was Crisis. That's Crisis and some
That's
Superman
hard.
and some Superman books were my first introductions to his work, and I didn't even know that he was Puerto Rican until I was an adult.
It's
You
funny.
looked at that
Sometimes
last name and went, "That's a white man's last name."
No, I didn't think that it was a white man last name, but Perez is not an uncommon Latin name. So, Puerto Ricans are not the only Latin people in the world.
That's fair. That's fair.
He could have very well been from Spain, from Dominican
Yeah.
Republic. He could have been from Mexico. He could have been from a bunch of places.
Okay, well,
I
I guess
mean,
in fairness, I also then did not know that he was Puerto Rican until this moment.
there you go, fam. You're welcome.
I have to say, I miss his Nightwing, the disco Nightwing with the big high collar.
Yeah. Oh man, I miss that dude for real. Like, it sucks, but here we are. So, Wonder Woman, where you at so far? How far in
We
were you?
literally are in the first 3 pages.
Oh, sweet, awesome. Then let me not
We
stop
talked
you.
about the new 52 and
Oh,
our favorite
man.
Wonder Woman artist. We talked about Philomena's for a bit.
Oh,
Aw.
Just covering the other name because
I showed my Donna Troy sketch.
I have a Lobo sketch by him, and he was the first professional, the first professional artist to review my portfolio and give me tips on how I could improve my portfolio.
There were 3 writers on this book.
Yeah.
Gambit's giving like real heartfelt like.
No,
nice
it's all
memories.
good. But we're not here to talk about me and my experience with George. We're here to talk about Gods and Mortals by George.
Well, I'm trying to catch up a little bit.
Yeah.
So was this your first time actually reading the book, or had you read it before?
I mean, I read it years ago, so it's like reading a new book.
It's been about 20 years for me, and Tessa said the first time she read it, she was like not in the headspace for it.
Yeah. I mean, it's a book from its time, so it has a lot of words in it. It's a sit down and read.
When you start with violence against the female, like right off the bat,
well,
it's just like
Starting off with a literal caveman scene.
Yeah. You know that one of the times that I sent art submissions to DC for them to check my portfolio, I used a script that they give you. It's a script that they give everyone to test you, and I failed miserably the first time. The second time, not so much, But it starts with a caveman scene in the first page. It's a caveman scene similar to this one. I should have looked at this book before I made those pages. I would have learned so much.
I also discovered when I read Ares in this book,
Mm-hmm.
I was hearing Skeletor's voice.
That's funny.
Like from all those memes and from the cartoon where like he jets away and he's like laughing. All I hear is, "So we meet again!" Ha ha ha. That's the voice I was hearing in my head.
Spider-Man, like Green Goblin and Spider-Man with Tobey Maguire.
It's the voice I kept hearing, but Tess and I were talking before you came on. Like, we kind of love that all the gods are really bitchy and like super sassy to one another, especially like Zeus. Zeus is like,
they're such petulant gods. Like,
I mean, they are gods.
It's like the Real Housewives of Olympus up in here.
Yes, I mean they are gods. They are assholes. They are selfish.
This could be our web series.
You know, they are. I don't know why people love gods so much. They don't love us.
Yeah, the gods have always been like depicted in some kind of way like this. I just like it that way.
Yeah.
It's just I like being like, God, just shut up.
I just wish they had a gods version of TMZ up there. Like,
that's what I feel like I'm watching.
That would be funny.
I feel like it's gonna pan to someone speaking directly to the camera.
Zeus turned into Rain of Gold. Pregnancy scare.
I mean, Zeus had a pregnancy scare. You said. You know how many of those he had?
Oh yeah.
I was trying to think of an Olympus-themed Inquirer, but I couldn't come to the joke fast enough.
It'll be like every month he'll be like having a scare, you know. Like if you have this, if this was like a monthly issue, every month we'll start with him like, oh shit, you know, having a pregnancy scare. Dude, keep it in your pants, man.
He literally can't. He's the god of
He can't. I know he can't. He can't. It's impossible for him to do that shit.
He needs to have a son that's like the god of belts to help him out or something. I don't know.
The god of jimmies. You'd mentioned this earlier. I like how every goddess has a distinct hairstyle. He didn't go generic. Even bodies.
I was gonna say their faces all look different though too. It's not just the same thing plastered over and over again.
Very much so, and
which, if you let me add to that, lately that's how comic book.
That's what I was just saying. Like
art feels like it's, especially Marvel. I feel like it's good art. Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying that it's bad art. I'm just saying that it has become very standardized and across the board, a lot of things look more or less the same. You know, there's not much difference between one and the
there's other. A particular Marvel book where I see a lot of backgrounds being reused.
Yeah, that is happening right now. I mean, they want to put these books out there as fast as they can because I want my comic right now. You know, so
yeah,
I can
Marvel
see them
seems to have
that.
A factory style right now outside of a couple of artists.
Yeah, it's called paying whoever they can as cheap as they can.
I mean, that has always been the case.
Nice for that, but yes.
No, that has always been the case. You know what was one of the things that frustrated me the most as I grew older was learning that these two big companies that I admire so much and aspire to work for are legit horrible to their talent. You know.
But they didn't have options. Now everybody will start with them to get their name out there and leverage them. Like Michael Walsh is somebody who like worked over there, you know, worked on Hawkeye and a couple other things, and then he went his own way. Like, and that's probably the way to go.
Yeah, it literally works the opposite way it used to. It used to be like you work at indie stuff until you can go to the big companies and be like, look, I can do this. And now it's, I go to the big companies so people know my name and I do the cool indie stuff that I can actually do.
Yeah, I mean, like, look at Hickman. Hickman did his, you know, big Fantastic Four book, and then
Tinian.
Tinian or Tinian.
Yeah, I think you're right.
Yeah, and then Matthew Rosenberg the other way, where he did his indie stuff, and then came over to the big two, and he's doing well. Now he's back doing a very good book right now that I'll
read anything he does. I love Rosenberg.
What is he writing right now?
Right now he's doing he's doing What's the Furthest Place from Here and some like long stuff, but he just is coming out with We're Taking Everyone Down With Us. It's a mini-series, but the first 2 issues are out and it's amazing.
And We Can Never Go Home again still angers me because I wanted it to finish with those characters. I needed more.
Isn't that a book that hasn't been finished? Like it stopped or something like that?
Yeah,
like,
we did it for book club, and then like they were like coming soon, we'll be back, and it was like nope. He started writing
We'll be
X-Men,
back soon.
and 4 Kids Walk Into a Bank was great.
That's my favorites. Yeah, I got that right here.
4 Kids Walk Into a Bank is the name?
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
I haven't heard of that one. Shit, I need to catch up. I'm so far behind.
They're making a
It's
movie
the-
of that one right now. Like Liam Neeson is in it. They just finished rapping in Ireland, I believe. Yeah.
Liam Neeson's in everything.
That's not true.
He was in the part of the movie I saw.
He's in Police Academy. Not Police Academy, the Naked Gun remake.
The Naked Gun.
I love
remake,
Naked
yes.
Gun.
I do too, but like, I'm just like trying to picture him in that Leslie
Yeah,
Nielsen.
I didn't. Okay, I don't know if I want
Have
to
you
see
se-
Naked Gun.
Did you see the trailer? I like the trailer. I saw
The trailer was
and I
kind of
kinda
funny.
and I kind of
Especially
want
the O.J. Simpson picture of his character. Like, nope. So I love the creation of the Amazons. I really like this reimagining of it with all these souls being given birth and how they come out of the sea and they're all given their roles.
It was a beautiful way to birth them in general. Like just
Yes.
as their story's beginning and they get to come from the sea, and it was beautiful.
And then Hercules is just a dick.
Yeah, they're all bitches.
Hercules. Yeah, we've been over this.
Yeah.
The gods are assholes. And technically, he's not a god, right?
God, yeah, Hercules was the worst one though. That was just.
Oh, 100%. It's like, huh,
I'm no longer
you.
interested in pleasing women. I want to own them or whatever he said.
Yeah, like. So this is a page I really like, and the colors are very, very subtle, and I kind of enjoy that. Tatiana Wood did a fantastic job with the colors aren't overpowering, but I also wonder if this version was recolored because I don't remember from the old if it was differing.
The version that I have here in my hands, I don't think it's been recolored. Not much change because I remember some of these issues from way back when, and I mean, obviously they look modern. You know, it looks shiny and chrome, but I don't think they changed much in terms of like recoloring and making changes like they did with
Swamp Thing was one of the worst that they recolored everything. The
what
Killing
is that
Joke.
comic that has a joke? The Killing Joke. Thank you. The deluxe edition is being recolored, and some of the colors are like weird, like
And
it feels like it changed the atmosphere of it.
We talked about on Squadron Supreme. I went back and actually pulled out my individual issues.
Oh, yeah. Oh, wow. Yeah.
They actually changed 2 pages and changed some spots on it, which kind of bothered me.
Yeah, that's the problem with modern reprints and stuff. Is that so one of the things that I like that I got a few weeks ago was a reprint of Detective Comics number 27. Oh, that's pretty cool.
Tessa.
That the pages.
Oh yeah.
That the pages were not white pages; they were like off-white pages, and they were
yes,
like
the toned pages.
You know, like if you're going to reprint these old books, try to reprint them in the same format. Like I know you want the shiny, nice page
in my language,
but some of these older books don't translate well to more modern coloring techniques and
it is disingenuous to the art form when you are printing it on glossy, stark white paper where it was not originally made to be printed on that, so it is no longer in the artist's vision.
So there's a reprint facsimile they did of The Death of Gwen Stacy.
Mm-hmm.
It looks so wrong on that paper. Just
everything
it's like looks wrong on it. It's weird that it's jarring.
I found some Tomb of Dracula books, and one of them is original and one of them is a reprint, and the reprint, those new facsimile ones, the pages are so white, and it sort of takes away part of the magic of the original print, that textured paper, that
well, also Gene Colan's art lends itself to that grittiness.
Yeah,
exactly. So
Dracula is leaning into that like dusky feeling.
and having these purely white pages, making things pure white in some of these pages, it just feels wrong.
The Epic collections of those actually didn't recolor them, so it was kind of
Yeah.
nice. But they are on that glossy-ish paper.
Yeah. I was originally trying to get that run, but Blade. I just hit 10% battery, so I am going to leave. You guys have fun chatting Wonder Woman in my absence. I'll catch the replay later.
All right.
Thank you for joining us.
See you
And feel
later.
better.
Bye. Bye, Gambit.
Bye. All right, where were we?
So we're pretty early on. Hercules had just kind of come there, and then the gods are like, "Hey, y'all are stupid. You kind of did wrong. But I'm gonna do you a favor. We're shutting off the world. We're gonna send you to this other place, and there's a demon there."
Deal with it.
So the only artist I remember that got to go to the Baxter paper was George Perez on Teen Titans or New Titans. They were one of the books that used the Baxter glossy paper back then.
Yeah, but now I'm pretty sure that they don't give the artist right now the option for a reprint. Like
No.
if DC decides to reprint this book now again, they will reprint it, and they will pay whatever fees they have to pay to whatever they have to pay the artist and whatever they have to do, but they would make the decisions they want to make when it comes to printing. They're not gonna take into account the artist
desires to keep it.
Desires to keep it on.
They get final say, which
Yeah,
nobody
but
really has.
Come on, we're talking about DC and Marvel. Contracts were never, unless you were really smart and savvy and you had some pull, very rarely you would get a contract that you'd be like, yeah, this is great,
So we had a guest on. We were doing Swamp Thing, the first Alan Moore book, and one of our guests had the Absolute edition of it, and he started showing us changes in the actual art on the page where they inserted art, changed art around, which to me feels wrong if you're going to, because that goes against the artist, unless the artist went in and redid the page himself.
Yeah, now that is, I think that's disrespectful as fuck, That,
so you're basically telling the artist you were wrong how you originally did this, so we fixed it.
Right. That's it. To be fair, the other day I was flipping through the silent issue of G.I. Joe, studying that issue and looking at it, and I found myself being like, you see, in this page, I don't think that this panel was necessary. We could have taken away this panel. But also I said to myself, but you are absolutely no one when it comes to this thing. So shut the fuck up and enjoy the book for what it is, And so I can see
that issue when it came out. Like everybody's like, "There's no words in it." Like it fucked people up because it was just but it worked. The whole issue.
It worked. Yes, it's a really good issue. So we are dropping. We get these characters. Sorry, I am now distracted by the drawing. I'm trying to make a drawing like I always do, and now I'm distracted. Which page were we?
What did you think of the birth of Diana in this?
I've seen this before,
Yeah, so the Well of Souls is the interesting thing, that they held back this one soul that was like the chosen one. She's like the Anakin of female Amazons.
See, I didn't see it that way. I don't feel any sort of way about it, I
used to hate the origin because like, wait, she's like a dreidel. They made her out of clay and like she came alive. This adds a little bit more to it, where like a soul got from the gods.
Yeah. I mean, of course, it gives more to that, just that, But I don't know. I guess that
the facial expressions of the birth, even though she's not giving birth, but she's praying and the sweat's coming down. It adds something
it's
to
like
it where it's actually
it's like
simulating.
it's symbolic, but yeah, she's giving birth. I like that they're all looking up like that. Man, how did I miss this? I'm going blind.
And I had posted a video about George Perez talking about when he took over Wonder Woman, how like he was not even the first choice. They had their eyes set on someone else who was a problematic artist, and they were like, I don't know if we can go with this guy. And I was like, well, that's curious. Who's the problematic artist? But he never said. Of course, professional. But people later on were like, we would have thought a woman was writing this book, or someone who was like gay or something, because like the way he was writing the characters, I was like, he was inclusive so far before was a thing.
Before inclusive was a word, he was very very progressive that way.
And this was 1987 when this came out.
Jesus
post-crisis.
This is post-crisis,
starting
right?
to collect yes. I was just starting to collect comics at this time. Barely reading any DC. Like Batman was the only thing, and then like of course Batman in '89 really took off because the movie came out.
Because of the movie, yeah.
And Wonder Woman was a character, like even watching the old Superpowers cartoons as a kid, like she would show up and I was like, that's Wonder Woman. Like put Firestorm back on the screen.
Really? You didn't like it? I always liked the character. I always thought it was
Where's Zanjana and Gleek? Come on. Well, when you're a kid, like tiny kid, then we watched the Wonder Woman TV show and Linda Carter was an actual goddess.
Yeah. I love that show.
Oh, it's cheesy as fuck, but it was fantastic. And
well, it's a product from that time, It's it was meant to be cheesy, or so I think,
Paperback Dan.
I think that's part of the beauty of the show, the cheesiness of it.
The Absolute Editions are notorious for changing art inside the books.
Yeah, that kind of sucks.
When Diana does the challenge to go through again, there's just simple face gestures that.
Yeah, his expressions are really good. Yeah, it's really hard to not get lost in just looking at these pages.
And it's funny because as I've gotten older, I've really taken notice of like the telling of the story through facial art gestures.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
The final challenge being a handgun was kind of like weird.
I mean, she had to. You have to have her use their thing.
Yeah, and then of course, I mean, I'm sure this was an iconic poster back in the '80s.
Yes, of course it was. Look at that page, man.
And then what I call this was a cover, and I call it the Iron Maiden cover, where it looks like something out of heavy metal.
It is a pretty cool cover. Why do I not have that cover? Oh, here it is.
But my favorite piece of art that I don't know why I love this, but it's
this is so cool.
This picture right here,
just nothing, just yep, me too.
It's just like negative space and just her on the horse riding up for war, and I just love it.
She is ready.
So I was reading it now, them having Steve Trevor look so old threw me.
Right?
They drew him to kind of look like oh my god, wow.
Oh, dude, he looks like he's on his 60s in these pages.
Very much so. Like it looks like Dirty Harry.
Clint Eastwood.
Clint Eastwood a little
That's
bit.
the name of the guy.
Yeah.
Yeah, it does. It does. I wonder if that
Here's the
was on
full.
purpose.
Weirdly, this doesn't work as well for me as the full art page. I actually like the negative space
Yeah,
better.
yeah. The negative space makes it more interesting, honestly.
Yeah. But I love the message was sitting there while lightning just keeps hitting a statue. Like, I could get lost in George's art, especially when he's doing like the huge MC Escher Olympus art where people are walking on ceilings, walls.
Yeah. When you have to when you can turn the page all around and just turn it and like you can just turn the book this way and this way just to see the little details and the stuff. Yeah, that's what I was mentioned earlier. Like it's really hard not to just get distracted by the art and just look at the pretty pictures.
And one of the things that's interesting to me, like even the stuff from the gods, it's like he researched them from those Greek like Joseph Campbell books.
Yeah. I think that was a standard at the time, you know. It's like you're gonna read this book first.
Well, they also went through the Hermes is going to guide her only so far, and he's like, "I'm done. Sorry, you're by yourself." But the whole part in the airplane when they're in the fighter plane and the guy behind him starts becoming the skeleton, I was like, "Man, this is like that heavy metal from that animated movie where the guy in the plane turns into the skeleton."
Oh my God, yes. I have forgotten about that. Oh my
Yeah,
God.
that and of course that was right around the time, like, well, earlier than this coming out, but I was like a little bit of Ralph Bakshi. But also this
it reminds me of Tail Gunner from Iron Maiden.
Yes.
Specifically that.
This book really goes into the whole nuclear scare, the Cold War, everything with like everybody's got their finger on a nuke.
This is the movie was the movie did the movie borrow from this book specifically, right? The Gal Gadot movie?
Little bit.
Right?
It borrowed from a lot of things.
Yeah.
I mean, I did love at the end there. They, in the credits, they, put George Perez in there.
Yeah. I mean, it'll be hella disrespectful not to at this point.
Yeah.
But these people
100%.
are known for being disrespectful, and you can tell I'm a little bit angry to the with the big companies, right?
Yeah, well, because I had said, I was like, man, if they have to have George Perez and Jimenez is like, there's a lot of people like, don't forget Jorge Garcia Lopez and all these other artists that worked on it. And he's like, it's not just where you live through. I was like, you got a point.
Yeah, that's true. But you can always tell, I'm a little bit biased right now, so I shouldn't be talking.
I didn't really get the romance of Steve, Trevor, and her in this, though. That's the only good thing. I was like, yeah, they slow played that, but he does get younger, and as the book goes on, like not in this story, but like in the other stories.
Yeah. They start to make him a little bit younger eventually.
And also, like, how weird looking Phobos and Deimos are compared to the other gods. Because once they introduce them, like, they're just these, like, weird ogres with big eyebrows.
Huge eyebrows.
Very much so. And then
Deimos' legs are really funny, though.
Oh,
I mean,
yeah.
They're boots, but they're really funny.
I don't think those are boots. They're like crab feet. I don't even know.
Yeah.
But like Hermes is like, I'm dropping you off in Boston. See ya. There was like a lot of fluff that needed to be, well, not even fluff, but like the whole thing with the librarian who helps them could have probably done without that.
You need some exposition, you know.
I do love once the Gorgon's daughter gets involved, because the Gorgon's daughter was like Decay, who turned the little girl into a like 80-year-old.
Sorry, I'm just here looking, looking at the pictures, like as if I didn't spend hours looking at this yesterday reading.
Yeah, the fight with the K was pretty good. I do love, and we talked about it before he came on, how the gods need man, and Ares doesn't quite realize that they need man to live, and he's like, "I'm gonna destroy the fucking world."
But he doesn't get it. That's
here's some of that like MC Escher where.
Yeah. I was looking at the wrong screen. I have another screen open here. The other screen that I had open is like a few seconds behind. And I was looking at what are you? I was looking at and like you're talking like if you're showing something in the screen and I'm not seeing it. What's up? I'm so sorry.
The fight with the K, I thought was pretty good. I think that's honestly probably the biggest fight of it, and she gets fucked up. Of course, the fight with Deimos and Phobos was probably the biggest in this book, and she takes care of Deimos in a pretty awesome way with her razor sharp tiara, where I started questioning, I was like, how the fuck she put that on her head if it's razor sharp? I know, it was just like that moment.
We just don't ask those questions. That's where you draw the line.
But I did. This was one of those covers.
Oh yeah. Yes, this page. I love this page so much.
Let me. Oh yeah.
Look at that page.
The revelation of the big bad.
Let me get my horrible fingers out of the way. Look at that. Man,
I
the amount of detail that's in that page, man.
I love the way he does Athena in this book, between the owl and the armor. Even some of the armor on the Amazons I really like, because there's little details of like a little piece between the nose bridge where it has like a sun face. Just little things, and I've never ever seen the ferryman's barge look like that.
That's really cool. That reminds me of a Warhammer figure that I have. This drawing, dude. Look at that.
Oh yeah,
man.
And this is one of the things that's crazy, because you'll get lost in the art, and we're kind of doing that now. I think this is a good story. Have there been Wonder Woman stories better? Probably, but to reinvent Wonder Woman from getting devolved at the end of Crisis, like literally they were just like, yeah, we're starting over.
I think, yeah, I like you said, have there been better stories? Yes. But this is not what we're arguing here, you know. We're not arguing this is the absolute best story of Wonder Woman. We're, you know, just admiring how good this specific story of Wonder Woman is, and admiring how beautiful these pages are, man. I wish I would have seen some of these pages in person, because I bet you these pages are
probably
beautiful.
And George talked about how this was a secondary character, and he thought she was being underused and wanted to bring her back to prominence, and mission accomplished.
I mean, mission accomplished.
And then more of the MC Escher type art. Where
Those pages that you just have to turn the book around a few times.
Doesn't work so well with a tablet where you can't really unless you lock the screen.
I need a reference picture real quick so I can continue with this drawing.
But once Ares enters in, I do love
once Ares enters the chat.
Yes, and this is another one of those covers where.
Yeah, that one's really cool. I really like how imposing that that.
They made him super large, and he's always got big poses.
I mean, I feel like that's the correct way to if you're going to draw a god, you have to draw him larger than life. Otherwise, it's just another dude with a cool armor.
But also, like, it kills me because he Skeletor laughs a lot. Like, and that's why, like, I kept doing the "until we meet again," ha ha ha. Like it's every time he flies off or goes off puffing smoke, he laughs. And I swear to God, if he put "until we meet again" on here, I would have lost it.
I mean, that's my favorite part on Spider-Man with the Green Goblin. That's my favorite part when he goes like "until we meet again, Spider-Man," and goes into the city. That's my favorite part of the whole movie. So
like there's that one Skeletor meme, and you might have been the one who posted it, where it was waiting for the edible to kick in, and all of a sudden he's rolling on the floor left and right, and he's just like ha.
Waiting for that edible to kick in.
And then he runs off and says, "until we meet again." It was one of those stuff things that was like, I was like, I've been there.
Like, yep.
Someone made some brownies, and it took forever to kick in, and we were at the club, and all of a sudden everybody was just like sitting down, like, oh no.
They all kick at the same time.
Pretty much, like, and then like two of the people threw up because they put way too much in it.
That happens. You have to be careful with those things.
So one of the things I liked is as the powers growing of Ares, like Themyscira is like withering.
Yeah.
Even like Hippolyta is on her throne and she's withering.
Die, bitch.
And then like they gave him Kirby Crackle when he gets mad and uses his power, which was kind of weird. But there's a part where she throws the lasso around him and it shows him what's going to happen.
This page?
Yes. And I thought he becomes like a giant like Ghostbuster blob.
Dude, oh my God. It reminded me of movies like Green Lantern where the big bad guy is just a cloud at the end.
And they talk about once he sees what happens and he weeps. And for some reason, it reminded me of the story of Alexander the Great, who reached the end of the world and he cried because there was nowhere else to go.
Oh shit! I didn't know. I was not familiar with that.
That's one of those stories. But he realizes, like, in that moment, he's master of the world, and then he's alone. His kingdom, a charred and smoking cinder, devoid of life, and thus devoid of purpose. Enveloped by the lasso of truth, Ares truly sees the ultimate consequences of his actions, and for the first time in his immortal existence, the war god weeps.
Boo-hoo.
And for without those alive to worship him, Ares' power swiftly wanes. His palace decays until at last it crumbles into nothing. And I feel like this...
I like that panel where it's just the head and just the energy dripping off of it.
Yep. I thought it was like sands of time, like decaying.
That's actually.
And then he's
good
like, "There's
interpretation.
no other choice. You hand me my daughter's talisman and let balance be restored." And he kind of goes cross-eyed. I don't know if that was a choice there. But
You know,
and
I
then
did
he,
not notice that.
Yeah, so it's kind of weird. It's like he nutted. He's like, "Oh,
Oh my god. Stop it.
Sorry, it was just I don't know why. But he
Oh
throws
my
everything
God,
on her.
that's
He's like,
funny.
"It's on you to teach man not to do this shit." And he's like, "We're just gonna see if you're equal to it, and if you're not, Diana, then beware. For the world shall hear from me again."
Wahahaha. Right.
And then more of the craziness of the gods where Pan's putting in like, "Hey Zeus, like I don't know if you've seen these Amazons." And more of like everybody standing on weird angles.
I mean, if you are in yeah, you can see it. You can see it in that cover that there's no. I like this page too. This page is pretty. striking.
Oh yeah. That. Can you put that up again? I'm sorry, I didn't click to it
Yes.
fast enough.
Yeah. Of course.
Yeah,
That just that white page, the contrast of just the empty space, and just him in the center, just taking the whole. Oh man, look at this.
yeah. And then Athena and Artemis are like, I don't know if this is a good thing about Zeus kind of taking an interest in them. And then Hera comes out and she's like, if he betrays my devotion, gotta be hell to pay, but I'll give him a little bit. And then Diana in this page is wearing the Wonder Girl shirt when they go back to Paradise Island.
Yeah.
So I thought that was kind of interesting. And then
all I could think of when I was seeing some of these pages where there's a lot of water is the amount of bubbles that he will draw in this water. It's like bro, why?
So I seen an interview. It was on the Image documentary, and Rob Liefeld was talking about Todd McFarlane. Todd McFarlane was like, I love the black suit. I don't have to draw those webs. And then, I can, get intricate with bricks and the walls and the webbing he shoots. And that influenced him creating Deadpool.
Oh, yeah.
Because it was simple costume.
Yeah.
2 colors.
Something simple without 100,000 pouches around.
Oh, no, we gave him pouches. We're never going to not have pouches.
It's true. We still got the pouches and the big shoulder pads and all of that. But what's the fascination with that?
It had to have been something he saw in a movie.
Yeah. Of course.
Because he was completely influenced by pop culture.
Yeah. It probably, and it could be just something that he thought it was cool and let's do it. And
like he loves Tom Cruise movies, especially Mission Impossible. So there's like a motorcycle scene in a lot of his books now. For no fucking reason, they'll go on for pages. And by the way, yes, I picked up the Youngblood, the anniversary edition, just to see if anything changed. Looking back now, damn near 30 years, the writing's worse than I remembered. It is bad. Bad. And I think Gambit froze. He's just stuck in a smiling phase here on my screen. So, to end the book, Diana wants to tell the world about, what happened with Aries, and she gets a publicist. She ends up on Time Magazine, People, Life, Miss, and she's not quite a Kardashian yet, but she's on her. I mean, she would have had a reality show if it was current days. Probably. I do love Tessa's idea of having Real Housewives of the Gods. Died on you.
Sorry, I'm back. My computer died
Oh.
again.
So yeah, I finished up the Rob Liefeld stuff.
I'm so sorry.
The writing sucking years later. Diana gets a publicist, and she's on Time Magazine, Life, People, Miss, National Geographic, talking about Aries. Again, she probably would have had a reality show if they did this now. And I do believe Tessa's Real Housewives of the Gods would be a thing.
Right. I'm pretty sure that would work.
Now I almost want to make a mockumentary web series about it. And just get a bunch of people. But Zeus, you told me you were going to take out the trash. Sorry, I had to turn into a rain of gold and go visit some maidens. But hey,
I just went out to take out the trash. I'm going to take out the trash.
So at the end of this book, we get our first look at the cheetah, who is not a furry animal at this point. She has what I consider to be a little bit of an offensive drawing of a person, of her slave, or
yeah.
servant.
It's I mean, stereotypical, But
yeah, it's looking at it then and looking at it now, I'm like, all right, like
exactly, Sometimes we have to go, and when we look at this older stuff, and we have to think that there were a lot of things that were done at the time that were normal, that were okay, that were accepted, and then we learned that it might be slightly problematic in most cases, and we learn from that, and we try not to repeat those mistakes or those things, try not to perpetuate those.
And that's one of those things I like that I can look back now at that and go, yeah, you know what, that's
I mean,
it shows we evolve.
I understand. Like the other day, there was in one of those Facebook groups showed up on my newsfeed, right, and on my feed, and it was someone arguing about how problematic was Terra's relationship with Deathstroke, and how trying to stir up drama now, like 40 years later, and 40 years later, I'm like, what is your point? You know what? I didn't engage because that was just a waste of time. And already had like 100 and something comments on it, and people were blasting that person for like, what were you trying to get? With this status, with this comment, like trying to judge someone for their work 40 years ago, something that back then was normal, was approved, was vetted, was looked at from many angles, and it is addressed how problematic it is. Is it way more problematic than we thought it was? Yes, it might be a little bit more problematic now. We judge it with our current days lens. Of course, it's going to be extra problematic, But
and I think it's one of those things, a lot of us read it as a kid, and you didn't even think about how old she actually was, or
right. That's the one thing that is like, I keep forgetting that these are Teen Titans.
Yeah, like I never thought into it, and then as I got older, I was like, I read it as an adult, and I was like, oh,
exactly.
Like, so he's in his 50s.
Yeah, he's a very old man, and she is a teen. Yes, and it's very problematic, and it was problematic back then, and it's problematic right now. and now we see it even more problematic than and like because again, but
they started
it,
calling it out in the comics though. Eventually,
it
though, like,
yes, it was addressed, you know. So I feel like sometimes, you know, we get people trying to stir up the pot on old things, on things that have been published, uh you know, for more than 40 years that have been out, that has been already addressed, that has been touched, that has been worked on, that we have moved on from all of that. And we should be able to sit down and appreciate these works of art for what they are, a product of their time. Yeah, we recognize some of these things were a little bit difficult to process right now, or very difficult to process right now, because that is something that is really difficult to process. But back then we didn't think of it the way we think about things we do now, and things get, you know, a little bit out of hand sometimes, in my opinion.
so just sharing one of my favorite, and like this really got me when I was growing up.
Oh yeah, oh dude, that
Like,
oh yeah, that page. So I saw that drawing before I read the Infinity Gauntlet, right? And I remember now it turned into an Infinity Gauntlet conversation. And I remember at that there was this summer that I moved from my hometown to the town nearby, and I lost contact with all my friends. And by the end of the summer, I got back to my old hometown, and I got in contact with all my friends again. And they were also excited, telling me about these comic books, this story where this character killed all of them because he has some stones that he put in a gauntlet and he killed all of them. And then I saw that was the cover for one of the issues. I was like, oh, so this is from where it was. And I was always, I had no context for that page, but I always thought it was such a powerful page, and such a powerful character, even when I didn't even know what the character was. But just having this dude in space, just like come and get it, you know, it's like, damn, always love that page. And then I learned about the Infinity Gauntlet, and I fell in love with it even more.
and then George doing one of my favorite characters, Donna Troy.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah.
So I love
That's
that
a really cool.
layout.
That's a really cool costume design. I really like that when the costume bleeds to the deep space in the background. You know.
Definitely. And I like Phil Jimenez loves drawing her, and he loves doing like big hair version of her.
Taking a picture of the sketch that I was doing to show it to you guys, because I'm now on my iPad, and I won't be able to show it.
Your internet's been kind of crazy lately.
It's not the internet; it's my computer.
No.
Even though it's connected, it died. It wasn't recognizing my camera. It wasn't recognizing my equipment, my recording equipment, which is what I use for all of this. So it wasn't recognizing the microphone. Nothing was working, and now it just died. The computer just died.
You just didn't want to be on with Tessa. It's all right.
What? Don't say those things.
No. She was making the joke. She goes, "It's because I'm on here. That's why he's
No,
the chat."
not at all. Not at all. That had nothing to do with it. I was trying to make us
hold on, let me
sketch. Here it is. But you know, my thing died before I was done.
She is a tough character to draw, in my opinion, because you're either doing still poses. Like, I feel like her in action, because everybody wants to do these giant dynamic poses with her, and I haven't seen a whole lot of her like kinetically drawn, where it feels like she's like naturally in action.
Yeah. Everything looks posed. You mean? Yeah.
Yeah.
Challenge accepted. I'm going to draw a Wonder Woman that's more in action.
Because that's where I remember.
But this page it's a good snapshot of her in action. Let me find it. If I can find it, because of course.
Frank Miller asking a friend, he goes, "Well, are you a cartoonist or are you an artist?" Because he said artists were still poses, while a cartoonist is people in action.
Yeah,
and
I remember.
on that.
I remember reading that, and I remember getting mad at the word cartoonist, because back then I was like, I'm not a cartoonist. It's like, it's not the same thing.
When you break down the thought process of it, though, because there are like Alex Ross, it's poses. It's not a lot of action.
But you see,
where like cartoonist is more dynamic.
But when you go to see Alex Ross's work, that's what I want to see. You know what I mean? Although his Justice series, granted, he just painted it over someone else's layout. So all those sequential.
Yeah, it was Jim Kruger.
That book was really good, and it looked really nice. But when you see Marvel's is like just an art page after an art page and after an art page, which again, it was a beautiful book. I'm not dissing on the book or anything like that, or on Alex Ross's work, because it's beautiful as fuck. But it is what it is. It's I like that it elevated comic books to a fine arts status. You know what I mean? It showed that you can make with these characters fine art, make something really beautiful.
And I think that's the thing. Like, if you look at like Tim Sale's art, which is like the complete different end of the spectrum, where it's very in movement. It is cartoony.
Yes. Same with Mike Ringo's art, which was very.
Oh, Mike Ringo.
It was a very dynamic, very flowy. It had a lot of movement to it, but it was very simple or cartoonish in a sense,
Like Mike Ringo's Spider-Man, because everything was in motion. Like his leg would be in poses that would be impossible. So what was, out of all the George Perez books, what in your opinion is your favorite?
My favorite George Perez book? Wow, that's Justice League Avengers, Justice League Avengers, which is one that I would like to talk about at some point. I would like to bring that one.
I don't have the trade of that.
Really?
No, because remember, like it got bought up by everybody and disappeared real fast.
I have a copy. I have a copy. I don't have a copy of it signed, obviously, but I do have my singles signed.
I'm sure I could find it if I needed it.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
So one of the ones I really like, and I don't know if people think about it a lot, but the Incredible Hulk Future Imperfect with the Maestro.
Ah, yes, that one was really good too.
And then
really good too.
There is a Titan story about where they do the origin of Donna Troy, what her actual real origin. And that is probably, but I mean, most of his, especially his New Titans run was really good, especially on that new paper where his art popped a little bit more.
Yeah.
I loved his Avengers run, even though John Byrne immediately got on the book and changed everything he did. Because John Byrne fucking hated Christmas tree colored Wonder Man and changed his costume immediately.
I mean, I don't like that green red costume. I like the John Johnston one, the one that's the sleeveless.
Yeah, the W
black, and he has the two
West Coast Avengers, Hollywood.
Yes,
Wonder Man.
The one that his Wonder Woman was the first Wonder Woman. His first issues, Wonder Man was with issue 2 was with Beast.
Yeah.
That's the version of Wonder Man that I like.
That was the one I mostly read, but it was I went back and I was like, that costume I kind of dig it.
Yeah.
There is a book I'm surprised he never did. I feel like he would have done an awesome Fantastic Four.
Yeah. Yes.
John Byrne had a lockdown on that book for a long time.
Most definitely, he would do an amazing Fantastic Four.
His Avengers run wasn't too bad when it was him and Busick either.
You see, I think that his Avenger that was actually how I got into some of into the Avengers was when he was doing it. You know, I thought that it was really good. Man, I need to reread that. I haven't. It's
been a while since I read it.
It's been a long time. Damn.
Been a long time. Yeah, like I don't think I read it since shortly after it came out.
I don't have any traits of that. Now that I think about it,
I think they're out of print.
Yes, I know.
A lot of those Jeff Johns Avengers before they went away disappeared too.
Really?
Yeah.
You know where I probably can find some of those traits at Famous Faces.
Probably, I'm sure they have a wide collection of them.
Yep, I am almost 100%. I'll send them a message this week and see if they have it. They will put it on my folder for me.
So I know there is an omnibus that came out, but I don't have the money to throw away for that now. I just pre-ordered the Philip Kennedy Johnson Superman War World Saga omnibus.
Yeah, that's the one that I got from you at DragonCon. The companion.
Well, no, there's a $125 omnibus coming out that has
No, I got the compendium one, the one that's
cheaper. Yeah. I wanted the hardcover. So I just
finished reading that the other day, by the way.
So good.
Yeah, it was good. I honestly thought it was a little bit too long. I could do without at least 5 issues of that. Would have been 5 issues. Would have been okay.
You could probably say that about a lot of runs, but like the story overall,
most definitely
great.
Yeah, most definitely. Overall, it was a great book. I will recommend that book. You know, it's a good book.
It got me back on Superman, and I've been still reading it now. The Josh Williamson run's been really good. Who knew the guy from Nailbiter would fucking knock it out of the park on Flash and then now Superman?
I have to check that out. I haven't read any DC in a while, except for that trade, but any of the newer DC stuff, I haven't. I'm not even reading my own Uncanny X-Men books.
It's trash right now.
Oh no! Don't say that.
The Absolute Green Lantern book is fucking amazing.
Yeah, I've been reading good things about the Absolute books.
The Absolute Flash has been good. I don't really like Martian Manhunter, Absolute Superman, Jason Aaron stuff. In particular, the Krypton stuff's fucking amazing.
Yeah. Okay.
And his artist is really, really good. He did the Penguin series.
Yeah. I saw a drawing of Mr. Freeze, I think it is, for the Absolute Batman book, and he looks really creepy. I was like, damn, now I want to read this thing.
So Absolute Green Lantern's a fucking horror book.
Oh yeah, okay.
It's crazy.
Okay. All right.
But no, Jason Aaron's. I know you're a huge Jason Aaron fan. Like you dig Absolute Superman. The trades are coming out, I think, next month
or the month after. I have to check that.
Wonder Woman's been good. I have my pick for next month.
Yes. What are we reading next month?
I have decided. Yep, I have decided that we're going to do a Power Bomb by Daniel Warren Johnson.
Oh shit! Yes, I love that book. I have that book. I love that book. Yes.
I've been on a wrestling kick, so we've been talking about Daniel Warren Johnson a lot. So I was like, you know what? It's a book that's got a little bit of everything, and not a lot of people have talked about it. So I'm like,
yeah. Oh yeah, I'm looking forward to that one. Yeah. Oh man. Oh, and it's used to reread that again. That's great.
Yeah. So thank you everybody who joined in and watched. Tessa, I hope your migraine's doing better when you rewatch this. And I really appreciate getting to talk about George. It was really unplanned that this was going to be the 3-year anniversary of his passing.
That's why
it was not planned at all. It was just we've talked about how we wanted to talk about. By the way, not to get off subject, and I know you want to eat. Did you watch the new Superman trailer?
Oh yes! Oh my god! Yes, I'm super. I just saw real quick. I just saw the Thunderbolts on Tuesday. I really like it. I like it more than I thought I was gonna like it. Knowing what the character Sentry, I knew what was sort of, you can, okay, this is what sort of was going to happen, but they did a really good job about handling mental issues and depression and all of that. And I'm not gonna lie, I wasn't in the right headspace to watch some of these scenes, because I'm not doing so good right now. But it was a really good movie. I really enjoyed it. And then yesterday I saw the trailer for Superman, and that shit got me really hyped. I was like, oh my god!
The interview part at the beginning of it between it, that was aggressive.
When she goes and says Superman, and he goes, Miss Lane. I was like, oh, just stupid. It's just stupid. It's really stupid. It's just one line. He's just saying Miss Lane, but he says in this tone and this, and he's like,
changed his voice.
That's Superman. That's Superman. That's Superman right there.
So it was like we got a lot without seeing Crypto, because Crypto was all in the other trailers. This time, less Crypto.
Listen, but we saw what we needed to see. Just Crypto. Oh my god, that scene of Crypto on top of him. Like, oh my god.
I'm trying to cool myself over it because I don't want to get too overhyped and then get disappointed. But I really liked what I saw, and I like the vibe of it.
Yes. Oh, I don't care. I'm gonna get hype, and I'm going to enjoy this hype, because a lot of shitty shit is happening. And if the trailer is the only thing that gives me joy right now, and then the movie disappoints me, fuck it, I don't care. I'm going to enjoy it.
And then the Peacemaker season 2 trailer dropped.
Oh, I haven't seen that one. I did not know that it was. Oh man, yeah, but
so there's people in the Superman movie that are in that trailer.
Oh yeah,
like Mr. Terrific, Hawkgirl, Guy Gardner.
Yeah. So somebody said to me that they're struggling on what they're going to call this team, if they're going to call it the Justice League or the Justice Guild. And when you see the logo in Guy Gardner's thing, it has like a JL, but it could also be a JG. You know what I mean? So it's like, I don't know. I take this with a grain of salt. This is someone that said this thing. He could have been easily just, messing with me. But if it makes sense, and if it's that way, that's interesting. But
I will lose my fucking mind if Zatanna somehow shows up somewhere, anywhere. I will.
Oh my god!
I will fuck. If they brought Donna Troy even into this, I would lose my mind somehow. They don't have Wonder Woman.
You know what I am? You know what I am expecting? Like, I am legit expecting to see an after credit. An after credit scene. Hi, look at Alistair in the inside the box. I am legit expecting to see a scene, an after credit scene, or a scene or something where they hint at Lobo.
Supergirl.
I know that it's supposed to be in Supergirl, but I hope I expect to see something at the end of this movie that would hint at Lobo.
Very interesting to put him in the Supergirl movie.
I thought so too, but I'll take the win.
So they've had her more as the person in space lately, so I think they're trying to keep it that way. But I started seeing the footage and all the screen caps from them, and I was like,
no, he's riding a bike. He's riding a regular motorcycle in a picture that I saw. If it's a real picture.
No, there was one with him off the bike, just in the outfit, and I was just all right, like, if that's what it is, I'm okay with it. But like, he's got the vibe.
Oh yeah, dude, I don't doubt for a second that he's going to pull it off. Like,
I'm pretty sure too.
Him as Aquaman was more Lobo than Aquaman. Come on.
If they give him the dolphins,
I don't think that's gonna happen though.
No, but it would.
The reason I don't think that's gonna happen is because it's too fantastic, and the audience is gonna be like, maybe in a second or third movie you can pull that off, But right off the bat to introduce the character, people will be like,
Now
But
I am expecting them to have, since it's cosmic, have rejects from the Green Lantern. Like I expect to see Gnort somewhere in a bar somewhere, and like maybe members of the Legion. Not the Legion of Superheroes, but the Legion, like not Virile Docs, but maybe like some of those other weird characters, like something like that, or the Omega Men.
Yeah.
That block-looking dude.
Yep. We hopefully we see that. Dude, oh my God, I can't. Let me stop because otherwise we'll be here 2 more hours just talking about that.
But people, if you haven't seen the Superman trailer, watch it on a big screen. Check it out. Again, I'm very big on the vibe because they're doing the humanizing of him, but not in the I'm depressed because I'm so fucking strong Zack Snyder way, where it's more of a guy who's like, I'm pretty comfortable. Like, I stop people from dying, and this is in the trailer. I'm not spoiling anything, but he's just like, yeah, like, I stop people from dying. I'm like, well, who told you to? He's like, yeah, like Lois is literally going at him, and apparently she's very aware of who he is at this point.
Yeah,
so
I think at that point she knows who he is because she says, "Are you gonna let me interview you as Superman?" And he goes like, "Go ahead." So at that point she knows that the interview is interesting, because usually it's played that the interview happens before she knows that he's Superman,
And then I really kind of like having Vincent D'Onofrio as his dad. That scene there, and I'm a sucker for all the Superman dad stuff because my fucked up family stuff. Like, I just like seeing a loving dad, so like I'm a mark for it.
Yeah.
But I started watching. I was like, man, all right, we got Pa Kent. Like, I'm good. Like,
Pa Kent being a decent Pa Kent. Not that the other Pa Kent wasn't decent. I understand what the logic behind it.
And this is a Pa Kent that looks like he's about to have a heart attack.
Yep. Which I think it makes more sense. So, real quick, what bothered me about that scene of Pa Kent dying in the tornado thing and not letting Clark save him. At that point in Clark's life, everybody in Smallville, like, don't know that he has powers, but they're like, that kid is weird. That kid a lot of things happens around him that are unexplainable. So that this kid going in, grabbing his dad and bringing him back, people will be like, I didn't see shit.
So that was the thing about the Richard Donner one I really liked, is because it's something he couldn't stop. A heart attack, he can't do shit about.
Exactly. That's what I was going. That was what I was going for. That him dying from a heart attack is something that would make him feel powerless. Like, there's nothing that I could have done to stop that. Versus
Clark saved the dog.
It's a different type of guilt, and him having the ability to save his dad and not doing it because dad said no. It's a different type of pain than not being able to actually. You can reconcile the idea that I have all this power and I couldn't do anything about it, easier than you can reconcile the idea that I have all this power. I could have do something about it and I didn't do anything because he asked me not to. So I can understand the logic behind making that decision, but I'm just a spectator now. Just sit down, enjoy what I can, however I can, enjoy the ride, take the things that I enjoy about it, and the things that I don't enjoy, just it's okay. Not everything's perfect. Because as much as I love the Richard Donner Superman movie,
it's got flaws.
It got his flaws, everything has its flaws.
But as a child, it was the best thing I've ever seen.
Perfect. It was perfect. Same with the Superman Returns movie. People hated on that movie, and I liked that movie. I thought it was a decent movie, and I think that Brandon Rose did an excellent Superman. And there were moments where he was channeling Christopher Reeve in creepy ways that you were like, come on, that's unnecessary. But thank you for doing it.
and this is when we sit back and we head out of here. And I'm probably gonna listen to Sleep Token, the new album, for a little bit, and kind of.
Yeah, I'm still listening to the Ghost. I heard the Sleep Token one once, but I still went back to the Skeleton from Ghost, and that shit's been on repeat. Obsessed.
I'm hot and cold on Sleep Token. Like,
yeah, I have to be in the mood to listen to them, dude.
Yes, that's why when they're coming in concert, I was like, do I want to see them live? Like, I kind of do, but am I going to enjoy them live?
I'm legit not. You know, I will work for a Ghost ticket. I wouldn't work for a Ghost for a Sleep Token ticket. You know what I mean?
I mean, I want to see Metallica, but I don't want to pay $350 for not great seats. Even though I know the end's coming.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah. You haven't seen them yet? Oh, man. Shit. Damn.
Yeah.
They're going to be in Tampa. They're going to be in Tampa next month.
Yeah, it's just the dollar amount. It's like, ugh.
No, the dollar amount is horrible. Oh, yeah. The only reason I'm going to that concert is because someone gave me the ticket. Otherwise,
yeah.
Same with the Ghost one in July. I'm going. If I go, it's because someone would be like, "Hey, Gambit, here's a ticket for Ghost." Like, yes, I'm in because.
All right, everybody, we're done. Gambit's hungry. He's gonna get hangry. He's gonna
starving.
But thanks for watching. We'll see you next month for.
See you next month.
Powerbomb.
All right, guys. Thank you so much.
Excited. All right. Bye.